Hello everybody, my name is Helena Kangalange, a master student at the International University of Management, and today I'm going to present to you a reflection of my study on comparative education system. This is part of my study in education management, leadership and policies. This course has really helped me as a leader to look at education from a global perspective and also to think critically about my own leadership role. What is comparative education? Comparative education is more about studying how education system, how education policies, and how education practices work. As we can see different flags from different countries here, that when we talk about comparative education, we are comparing the education system of Namibia to the education system of South Africa, for example. So this is more about, it's not just about seeing what is different, but it's more about identifying similarities and identifying lessons that we can adapt to our own environment. For me, this approach has given me a picture of how schooling can be improved and how schooling can be organized. Now, why does comparative education matters to leaders? As you can see here, learn today to lead tomorrow. As a school leader, we do not work in isolation. We talk about globalization, we talk about migration, we talk about technology, and we can also talk about international tests. They influence what happens in our classrooms. And by learning from other systems, we can take what works well and adjust it to our local context. This for me makes our leadership decisions more informed and more forward-looking, if we may say. Key assessment. For me, the assignments we did in comparative education, of course, were challenging, but we can say rewarding. For example, if we look at an assignment that we did on policy formulations and policy implementation, I have learned that for a policy to be formulated, there should be consultation meetings to have a sampled populations to be consulted, especially from groups of people who are going to be affected by this policy that is going to be formulated. And I have also learned as a school principal that it's my responsibility to make sure that the education policies are implemented, because otherwise the money or the economy of our country is going to waste, because to formulate a policy, we have to use a lot of money, yet we are not implementing these policies. So I should make sure that policies are implemented within my school, if I may say, or within my region, if I may say, and so on. Now we look at impact for reading. With impact for reading, I have identified some of the books that I went through, which acquainted me more with information on comparative education. For example, Bray, Adamson, and Mason 2014. These ones, they acquainted me to post-colonial education in Africa, as well as why reform succeeds or why reform fails. I also went through closely in Watson 2011. These ones, they talk about globalization and respect for local context, respect for local culture, as well as respect for power. With impact for reading, I also went through Tickley 2020. Here, I read more about justice-focused and colonized education. I also read through Phillips, and then I went through Kenoi 2019. Here, they shows how global pressures shape education, but national context mediate policy responses. Visiting experts. Another highlights that I can talk about from this course was hearing from an expert, Professor Kanyemba. Professor Kanyemba took us through levels of education, and I have given us more information that currently Namibia is standing at 3.0. Now, he also spoke about decentralization, spoke about inclusive education, and real life challenges which we are facing as leaders in the field. A key message for me from this was that I stay with a key message that I took is that effective leadership means balancing accountability with giving teachers an opportunity or freedom to innovate. And then hearing this practice insight brought the theory we studied to life, because this is now giving me an opportunity to put the theory I have learned in practice. My personal growth in detail. For me, this course has genuinely shaped me as an educational leader, and I have learned to look beyond my immediate environment, as I have said earlier. So to benchmark our practice against global standards, I also to respect local realities. I've also realized how important cultural sensitivity, data-driven decision making, and lifelong learning are for effective leadership. For me, going forward, I want to use leadership. I want to use this comparative lens to to improve policy implementation in our country, and also to advocate for practices that raise learners' outcome as far as learning is concerned. And this, for it to be successful, teachers must also be acquainted with strategies on how to improve learners' learning. References. Here is a list of books that I have consulted when I was developing my reflective, and here I read through comparative education research. I also went through comparative and international research in education. I also went through comparative international education. This one was developed by Phillips and Phillips 2014. All right. Thank you for watching my reflection on the comparative education system. This experience for me has been informative, and I am excited, if I may say, to apply what I have learned in my own leadership journey as a school principal. Thank you very much.